party slash live comics reading. Special thanks to our friends over here at the UGA Special Collections Library. Everyone give it a round of applause for them. We're about to chat a little bit about their oral history project. They helped make this event possible. Also, so did we. We did a bunch of stuff too. So, yeah, it's great to be back in town. For those who don't know who I am, I did live here, and then I moved away, so I'm visiting. So why don't we take it away here, and y'all can chat about the project.
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to just kind of riff, or you got some questions?
I'm Rosario of a podcast called Gutter Boys. Abby's been on it, and a few of the readers here as well. But I know you all are putting together an oral history of Fluke project. So what does that actually look like? As far as walk me through the process of starting that, and then what the end goal would be.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Kacen. I'm a instruction and community engagement librarian at Special Collections. And this is my lovely colleague, Mandy Mastrovita, who's been involved in Fluke for many, many years. And she and I sort of got together, and really what inspired it is that we are already the home for the Fluke archive at Special Collections. We're very lucky that Robert approached us, I think last year now, to be the home. And we were thinking what would be some additional things that we could do to get people more excited about that archive, to get more people to come to the library and access it. And so we applied for a small grant to kick off that project. We have interviewed 3 people so far, hoping to do several more, and I will be at Fluke tomorrow. And if you are interested in being interviewed for an oral history, if you've been involved in Fluke in any capacity, I would love to talk with you, because we hope to do many, many more.
I don't know if this is jumping ahead too much, but as far as at the end of this, are you planning on publishing it anyway, whether it's online or via current media? Excuse me.
That's a great question. So every oral history that we conduct at UGA Special Collections is available. So we host it on our own platform publicly, so anyone can access it, and then we usually host it on YouTube and other places like that, so they'll be discoverable when people just Google Fluke.
Now, I know you mentioned getting a grant. Is there any way the public can support you as well, or is this just a funded project already?
Absolutely. So we have funding for the first few that we did, and then for the rest of the funds that we directed towards this project or this event. And that's it. So if you know of a source of funding that we should apply for, and or if you are a source of funding that we should ask for, we would love to talk to you about that.
Oh yeah.
No. Thank you
so
much.
Yeah, thank you for having us and for doing the project. I look forward to seeing it. So
yeah, thanks for being a part of it.
I do have a question. Do you have a favorite comic or zine? And anyone over there can answer this.
Oh my god.
Scam.
Sam, what is that?
Scam. Who I'm dead naming. She is in Bikini. She's in the newest iteration of Bikini Kill. And hang on one second. I'm so sorry I dead named her. Erica Lyle. Lyle, and she's also in Bikini Kill now, and I don't know if they're touring or not, but sorry about that. Yeah, scam. Fabulous Florida punk zine.
Nice. Cool.
I'm terrible at favorites, and I don't have a favorite color, so.
Okay.
I cannot commit, I'm so sorry. All right.
Oh, also, Scam is available through our fabulous publishers at Microcosm Publishing. Christine Anstein is a great good friend of Devlin's and also mine. So get Scam anyway. So it's good.
Yeah.
So this is my first time ever being in town for Fluke, whether it be for the show or this pre-event here. What makes Fluke special and stand out in comparison to other shows, in your opinion?
Ooh, that's a great question. For me, I think that because of the kind of size and also the fact that people come back year after year after year after year, that there's a kind of different sense of community at Fluke than there is at kind of larger conventions. And I also appreciate that it's kind of the artists who are there who are tabling as opposed to like all the other accoutrement that you might get at a larger convention with the kind of more commercial stuff. It's nice that it really feels like local artists sharing their work together.
Hell yeah.
One last question about like the archive itself. So what? Maybe I just missed it, but how did Fluke become a part of the archive? Like,
Robert wanted
it's
it
just
to.
Robert. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
So
So if
wanted
you
a
just
place
ask
for
for
it to live.
something, you can
Yes.
get it.
Wanted a place for it to live. So I should say that the archive is made of many parts. So we have received some of Robert's collection, we've received some of Patrick's collection, and then we are aggregating additional kind of materials to be part of it at each Fluke. So last year I was there and folks donated stuff to be included. And we're going to be doing that year over year over year. So there will be kind of many iterations of the Fluke archive. And if you're considering maybe donating your work, I want to assure you that it will not just sit down in a basement. Since we received the items from Robert and from the artists last year, I've used them in over a dozen classes. I have an exhibition planned at UGA Special Collections. Talk about them all the time with researchers. So they get used, they get in front of people. We use them as examples for free zine workshops that we offer all over the state. So if you're considering donating, rest assured it will be cherished and utilized.
And can the public come and look at the collection?
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
where can they do that at?
They can do it at our building, which is 300 South Hull Street, or you're welcome to chat with me and I can talk to you about coming in and looking at it in a more kind of casual way, because I have most of them at my desk at work.
Hell yeah.
All right, and you don't have to be affiliated with UGA, I should say. Like, you can bring your friends, your family, anybody can come and take
And
it
you
out.
know what? That might be a good idea for an event at a future Fluke, is to have an open house with that collection so that it's open to people attending Fluke.
That's a great idea. Let's do that.
I
Next year.
had to say it. Okay.
Well, yeah, thanks again for co-sponsoring and doing all the help with this. So we're going to start off with the readings. We have Eleanor Davis first. So everyone, round of applause for the Eleanor Davis.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming out. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks so much for putting this together. Super honored. I'm gonna have to. This is a comic about my kid. You can see a picture of his beautiful, beautiful face. I'm gonna have to leave right after this because it's gonna be his bedtime. So I'm sorry that I'm gonna miss the rest of the event. He's not here today because this is about when he was a baby, and now he's 4, and I think he would have gotten pretty pissed. He's into feeling humiliated. All right, it starts. My darling, your dad and I are out of our minds in love with you. We called you forth in desperation for our own stupid, slow, sad, adult reasons, but who cares about that? Because here you are to shout in amazement at some gravel, at a pigeon, at an empty cardboard box. Here you are to pour dry beans from one container into another and back again. Here you are to squeeze a snapdragon tightly in your absurd fat fist, to stomp through rain puddles out of some primal innate knowledge. Here you are to stuff wads of bread into your mouth and then pull them out again, completely sodden, and throw them on the floor in ecstasy. We have bequeathed to you a poisoned planet, but to you, poison means nothing. You want to stick your fingers into all the electrical sockets. You want to taste all the hot, wet earth that 1,000 dogs have surely peed upon. You want to pitch yourself off every cliff in full confidence that you will be caught. Oh, the horrible future! Your tremendous head eclipses it. And who cares about the future? You do not exist in the future. You are not a baby in the future. You are a baby here. You are a baby now. That's it. Woo! Winter of 2021. So right now it's springtime, and it's not 2021, and I feel pretty good.
What?
Back then I felt really shitty. So it was a bleak time, the winter of 2021. It's still a bleak time, but it doesn't feel like that because everything's blooming outside and it's beautiful.
Now, when you do comics that are about your child, do you feel like as an author, like, I don't know how to word this, like, do you feel like you kind of have to approach this in a delicate way? Do you think of their feelings?
Sense of responsibility.
Right, there you go, yeah.
Thinking about others.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Do you think, like, I know you said that your child is 4 now. Are they aware that they're starring in your comics?
I have read him these comics when he was younger and didn't understand what they were about as well, and didn't feel as much. He's very much does not identify as being a baby anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't. I would never write a comic where. I don't think I'd ever write a comic where I was like, today I regretted having children. This was a big mistake. My career is fucked. What was I thinking? But I think he'll be able to handle, like, me drawing a comic where he, like, shits in his pants.
Sure.
Fingers crossed. I mean, I don't know. It might be a big mistake. I'm sorry, Danny. I'm sorry.
Now, as far as, like, what you're working on now, do you have anything that you're debuting at the show tomorrow, or that you're willing to push?
No.
Yeah.
I do have a 4-year-old. No, I don't. I'm feeling very excited because have a comic in my head.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
haven't worked on a new comic for many years at this point. So I'm hoping that'll be something eventually. I feel like maybe 2 months ago I would have been like, I don't know, I don't even know if I do comics anymore. But now I'm like, just you wait.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Got
awesome.
a new edition of one of your books coming out
Oh,
shortly.
that's true. Fantagraphics is putting out You on a Bike and a Road.
Hell yeah, it's a great book.
Thank you. That
Yeah.
came out from Koyama Press, which is now defunct. So, or he's closed. So there's a new edition coming out. Yeah. So and I do like art and stuff. I'm taking a painting class, learning how to paint acrylics. So like, look out for that. And the new comic I'm working on has a sex scene with a 75-year-old physical therapist
Let's go.
lady who's very hot. So everybody
Hell
keep that in mind.
Woo!
I promise that's only a little depressing.
yeah. One last thing, and then I'll let you go. Are you aware of Nate McDonough and Grixley comics? Okay, well, it's okay. Do you know Bill Boychelle over at Copacetic Comics up in Pittsburgh? Okay, well, they used to do a bit about your book, which is why I'm bringing this up, because Nate is a good friend of ours, and apparently anytime the year that book came out from Koyama, Nate will tell the story that if a customer came in asking what the best comic was, Bill would be like, what's the best comic? And Nate would be like, it's you, me, biking the road. And like they had this whole spiel, so I didn't know if you knew them, but I was going to tell you about the spiel. But yeah, they did that.
No.
And apparently sold a lot of comics of yours for Copacetic that way. So yeah.
I'll write a thank you note. Thank you guys so much for being out here. I was honestly terrified. I was like, I haven't seen comics people in a really long time, and it just warms my heart to see everybody, and it makes me feel really good. And I'm sorry that I have to go home and put my kid to bed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. Good to go. What is this? Where am I? Hey, what the fuck? It's a really long panel of him falling to the bottom. Holy wow! Hey, Jack. You just fell out of the sky, bud. You okay? I think so. Still feels like I'm falling. Have we met? You're John, right? Without the H. Sorry, John. It's cool. I don't really know what all the fuck is going on here, or how, or when. All I know is, wait, let me guess. We're going that way. Yeah, seems like the move. Come on, John, stop. You don't know what's on the other end of this. I do not know that, but I'd wager you're coming with me. Oh, look at me, Mr. Vague Psychic Connection. What about danger, John? 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 What about danger, Danger, you just fell 1,000 feet out of nowhere and now we're walking through a talking tunnel. No big deal. So let's walk into this blinding light. Just like that? Don't be a buzzkill. What's the worst that could happen? Look, more people. All right, maybe we can get some answers. Excuse me, gentle person. Would you happen to be familiar with the area? Humans! Run! See what I tell you? Danger! We gotta get out of here. Huff, huff. They're gonna eat us, huff. Do you see a way out? What do we... Huff, huff. Jack, I don't like running. Sloop? I'm gonna punch it. What? John! Wait a minute. You're just gonna leave him? What a letdown. You didn't even try. Where are you even going? You suck! What will you do when you get there? Coward? Fuck you, I have no idea! I'm so damn hungry. You don't know hunger. Just roll over and die. Ha, gotcha, motherfucker. John? What now? Please, not again. No! Boop. We did it. And that's the cover of the book.
The whole book you read, or just an excerpt?
These 12, what we read comes out to 12 pages in the book. They are the first 12 pages that I did for my comic, The Hugh Marks, and it's the first time I printed a mini comic, and I did it for Fluke 2 years ago.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
So what we just read, debuted here a couple years back, so.
Now, you did mention, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was it.
You did mention, up front that you didn't have, the panels broken up, kind of like the Instagram swipe thing we've been conditioned to as comic readers recently. Yeah. Formatting that into a reading, did you have any difficulty? Because you were thinking of the page as a whole and not the square and the online audience. Did you find any difficulty in translating that to a reading because of that?
No. Honestly, my partner did it for me.
Oh yeah.
We just looked at it and we're like, let's break up the pages into the most convenient sections. Mm-hmm. So the top row of panels, the half a page or whatever. Because when I do my work, I'm looking at page layouts in terms of actual full spreads. Mm-hmm. So I think about page turns and pacing my comic that way, so that you're getting the cliffhanger and then turning the page to get the reveal or whatever. Right. Yeah. And so I had every intention of making this print and not a digital thing. So yeah, this was not an intention that I had to have it split up like this. I think it does read much better as a book, but you guys did invite me, so I wanted to be nice and do it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
I did want to talk about one of the pages you had with the lettering, and there was the sequence.
Oh yeah, that's everyone's favorite page.
Yeah, it's an amazing page. As far as the execution of this here, it's something that is out there that I haven't seen before, but it definitely has a unique look to it. When you're approaching something like this, because a lot of the times in mainstream comics you'll have a letterer who would do something like this, but in indie comics we're kind of our own letterer, inker, everything, right? Mm-hmm. So, and personally I kind of find it hard to put on all those hats. I feel like you're too close to it sometimes, but you obviously crushed this page. What was, I just wanted to kind of talk to you about this here. What's the, did you have any kind of inspiration going into this? And then also thinking of this, to actually execution, the kind of process behind this. Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot of questions.
Sure, yeah.
My brain is not very big, but I'll try to answer all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, did I have any inspirations? Yes. Nothing, obviously, because I'm on the spot. I won't be able to think of any names. But a couple years ago, when I signed up for Fluke, I didn't have a book. I didn't have a mini. I didn't have any comics done that were like printed and like ready to go for the show. And so I basically used Fluke as sort of a marker of like shit or get off the pot. And I had like 3.5 weeks, I think, to like sit down, get my sketchbook, and like take the ideas that I had been building up and turn them into this. And so I had a lot of stuff to pull from that. Like the first page of the comic, this like 3 panels of him falling and all that, that is like literally ripped out of my sketchbook. I just like, this is the way I want to open my book. This like very blank, like him just falling into a void kind of thing. And it was just a combination of like wanting to have something, wanting to kind of prove to myself that I could do it. This whole comic is basically a comic about making comics through the lens of like these 2 idiots kind of being, you know, subjected to whatever they're being subjected to. But yeah, I forgot all the questions.
Are you a fan of Street Sharks?
I was gonna ask that too.
Keep an eye out for issue 2.
Oh yeah.
And you'll be able to have that question answered for you.
Fantastic.
I'll leave it at that.
Wonderful.
All right. And before we get out of here, what are you selling tomorrow? Where will you be tomorrow?
So this is the first 12 pages what we got today. It is I made it a mini and I sold it here 2 years back. This not this. This is actually the last thing I showed you was like the cover that we did for the full comic. This is last year in June, me and my partner published this. This is the full comic, not just 12 pages. I will have the mini, that will be available. You guys can totally grab that. But then there's also the full issue, which has like 44 extra pages of comics that we did last year for a Kickstarter to sort of like turn my mini into a full-size issue. I've been drawing these guys for like 15 years, so it was just like, I'm either gonna have to make issue 1 or just like stop, like try, like, you know, I don't know, light a fire under my own ass. And so tomorrow I will have a bunch of copies of the full comic, the mini, Sewer Boys, which is like a recreation of TMNT 1 by 31 different artists, including myself, where we like, everyone got some pages, and basically there's like repeat pages, so you see multiple of the same images in different styles, like as you flip through it. It's really cool, even if to just look at. It's a huge collection of art, TMNT stuff from some cool artists. And then I think the same year in October that I did the mini, I completed my first Inktober, which was like a TMNT themed thing, and I have like the art book of that.
Hell yeah.
I'm working on issue 2, so I don't have that with me to like premiere here. But if you want to ask me about it, I can tell you about it. Yeah.
Just give us a 30-second to minute long pitch about it.
Have you heard of Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe?
Yeah.
The Hugh Marks kill the Shark character universe.
Excellent.
That's it.
Do you have a timeline on when that's going to come out?
I want to have it done this year.
Okay.
Don't hold me to that. But I do want to have it done this year, and if not, next year for sure.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm still like writing down the beats and thumbnailing and stuff. So it could be 100 pages. It could be 25. I don't know. So we'll see.
All right, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Thanks
Thank you.
so much, guys.
Reading Shady Creek Jamboree by myself and co-written by Melissa McBride. And we're starting on a view of the creek itself with some sounds of croaking and twanging happening in the distance. And someone off panel says, "Cricket, cricket." And in the next panel we see a frog leaping in saying, "How's it going, Cricket?" And Cricket responds, she's also a frog, Oh, Green. It's good, man. We're getting all set up. And we see these characters setting up for the Shady Creek Jamboree. This is Cricket's snack bar. That's a Hercules beetle over there. Hopsicles, flies cream, bug bars. My snack bar is ready to go. And Herc here is hanging the decorations. Feel free to lend me a hand. I'm not much of a builder myself, but you've got your musical accompaniment covered right here, as we see a fly starting to buzz into the top of the panel there. Oh, when I think of the feast tonight, this frog's old feet take flight. I'm a cartoonist, not a singer, obviously. And when, and the fly buzzes past Green's eyes, distracting him. And with a thwip and a smack, he goes for it, but misses as it buzzes off. He continues to pursue it. Come here, fly, bump, hey. Oh, no, you don't. Crash, flip, flip, bang, pow, flip, crack, flip, bam, causing all sorts of mayhem until finally, yum, got him. Green, and you see much destruction has been wrought. My decorations are torn to shreds. My snack bar is smashed to bits. I'm sorry, y'all. All this talk of snacks got me hungry is all. It's not just the bar that's ruined. The treats themselves are soaked in mud. What a sight. I can't serve these, and much to Green's dismay, as we can see. Well, what are we gonna do? Maybe we can dust them off? They're soaked right through. The decorations are one thing, but no eats at the Jamboree? Well, there's nothing we can do. These took weeks to make. The critters, creepies, and crawlies will revolt. It'll be pandemonium. Herc comes in saying, hold on, I know a guy, with a wink. And so they hop along, and he continues, well, when I say I know a guy, I mean I know of a guy, hop, hop, hop. Supposedly, a great sweets maker lives down the creek, hop, 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 hop. They say you can smell a sweet aroma, and then he is interrupted by a crack and rustle. Did you hear something? And before them, we see a big armadillo shocking them. And the armadillo says, oh, don't be scared. I'm just roaming for some beetles to eat. Beetles? Well, I'm not going down without a fight. He puts his dukes up. But this scares the armadillo, who jumps back with an eep and rolls up into a ball. Okay, you win. You win, go away. Jeez, Herc, go easy on him. You heard that, right? They wanted to eat me. All right, now where are we as they continue to hop along? Green hops into something squishy and goes, yuck. Don't be like that, man. The muck is perfect this time of year. Come on in. With the slides down with a schlumph. Slimy Sal, looking slimy as always. Now, don't be rude. Nothing wrong with Slimy. Yeah, well, we're kind of in a hurry right now. Maybe next time, Sal. Later, hoppers. They go on their way. Now we're hearing the sounds of Shady Creek kind of surrounding our heroes, who we hear poo-reek, ribbit, croak, chip, 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 creek, poo-reek. Wow, this time of night is perfect to hear all the frog calls. Oh yeah, and we're all a bit different. I do a little geek, 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 and I like to put more of a twang on mine. And then we hear, awoo! Whoa, what is that? Shaking our heroes. And chug, 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 chug. It's a big train, but the train is happening off in the distance where our characters don't even see it. Awoo! Chug, chug, chug. I don't know what that was. Biggest frog I ever heard. So are we close to this friend of yours, Herc? Well, I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know them personally. I just heard there's a great sweets maker, and then suddenly Green is sniffing an aroma coming in. They say, let's see, you're supposed to smell a sweet aroma, and that's all I really like. This one? Huh? Sniff, sniff. Oh, that is good. Like a delicious fruit. Wow, if this is it, I think it's through the bushes. And then we see a very imposing sight before them. Kind of shocks them with an eep. This is your friend? I told you, they're not my friend. That's cherry millipede. That sweet smell is her poison. Hey, I was just saying what I heard is all. And cherry millipede kind of looms over saying, did I hear my name? and surrounds them with ah, they're all screaming and freaking out. So sorry, Miss Cherry, we meant no harm. Please don't poison us. Poison? Oh, you must have smelled my syrups. I'm making my signature snow cones. Thought y'all might like them down at tonight's jamboree. And everyone looks very relieved as we see the night sky and we hear more croaking and twanging and finally see a nice shot of the jamboree with everyone jamming out to music and snow cones in hand. Not poison snow cones. All having a good time. The end.
Thanks for being here. So where do you get your ideas from?
Well, in this case, like I said, this was co-written by Melissa McBride, who I am married to.
Where do y'all get your ideas from?
She does this. She does a thing, a citizen science project called Frog Watch, where they go out and monitor frog populations down at Sandy Creek, the nature center. And like when she goes out with folks who it's like they're experts in the field, and they always point out like, oh, this is this crazy centipede that has this poison that smells like cherry, and this is a cricket frog, or this is a green frog, blah 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 blah. And so she's like just learned a lot of like interesting animal facts and stuff. And so we were talking about making this comic together, and she kind of brought me a bunch of like interesting stuff about animals, and we kind of talked about what we could do with that. And you can see it's kind of split into segments where there's like different animals or the different frog calls and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. So that's where that idea came from. They can come from just, whatever, like thinking about movies I like or thinking about my life or whatever,
Do y'all collaborate often?
Not really. We made this into a zine, and some of it she's helped out with the design, and we like assemble them together, and they're all hand embossed and stuff, and that's a whole process that it's nice to have multiple people working on that. But I don't know, I usually like talk to her about what I'm working on and stuff, but kind of keep it separate.
Do you have any questions?
I do actually.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask you, primarily your audience that you make books for is mainly a young adult audience, is that correct?
It's technically middle grade, which is
yeah.
younger than young adult.
Okay.
It's silly the way everything's divided, but there's these like harsh divisions. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it's kind of like late elementary school.
Okay. Well, the reason why I'm asking is the pages on their own look beautiful, but a lot of the times when you make comics for a younger audience, your book could be that reader's first, introduction to comics. Do you feel making comics for a younger audience, are there any like things that you're conscious of, maybe with whether it be storytelling beats, because you're keeping your audience in mind as opposed to making work for adults to consume? Not saying that adults couldn't consume this, but your primary market there, do you feel like you're consciously doing anything there?
It's kind of shifted over the years. I think what happened is that I was just making the kind of comics that I make, and people started identifying them as all ages comics, and then in order to like sell that to publishers, they want to know exactly what age it's for,
Right.
and they just kind of, and through the years, talking with publishers and agents and people who have strong opinions about these sort of things, they'll occasionally say like, well, if it's for this market, it has to have blah, 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 blah. And I don't like have like a list of things, like a checklist I need to fill out, but I do kind of keep that in mind when I'm writing. But I like to think that I'm just making something that I think is fun and that would be fun for anybody to read.
Hell yeah.
And then if the publisher wants to sell it to fifth graders, then that's who they're selling it to. But I want like anybody to be able to read it.
For sure. Now, do you have any like tips or any kind of like recommendations for shopping a book around to publishers?
The problem, I get asked stuff like this sometimes, and the problem that I have is that when I was first like getting my foot in the door, it was like a much different, it was like, like 15, 20 years ago, and so like it's pretty different kind of landscape than it used to be. So all I can like really say is to just like, the thing I like about zines is that they feel less, I feel very like willing to like give someone a zine for free. And so if I have stuff that's like giveaways that I can like give to publishers that I'm interested in, so they can have something that they can take with them, that's a good way to like keep them knowing like what I'm working on, and I don't even have to like show them something while they're busy with something else, you know. So like I just say like put your work out there as much and in any way that you can, and then hopefully the right people will see it. You know.
Right on. And where will you be tomorrow, and what will you have?
I will be at Fluke, and I will be. Let's see. I'm gonna have a mini comic version of Shady Creek Jamboree that I just read, and as far as other zines, I'm gonna have some copies of the third Bezor issue. That's a anthology of monster stories by mostly Athens folks, some kind of like local Athens area folks. And then otherwise, I'm going to have a lot of graphic novels. I'll have copies of Ghost Dog and Dragon Racer, my newest books. I think I'm going to have one Merman Volume 3. I'll have several copies, but of only Volume 3. But if you want to check out my older series, Merman, that's a good like sampler for it. So yeah, and then maybe, I live in town, so whatever other like odds and ends, zines and books I can throw in there, I might bring it, but that's what I'll have for sure.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Joey.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Right now. Thank you, David, for being here. Remind me again, you were traveling from
I'm coming from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Knoxville, Tennessee. All right. And you're going to be tabling at Fluke tomorrow, so take it away.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sit on the couch. So tonight I have for you all Playboy Dan. I worked at this store a few years ago. We bought and sold just about anything, including VHS tapes and Playboy magazines. It'd be the Great Escape in Nashville, Tennessee. During sales, the dirt cheap VHS and Playboys would be even cheaper. That's when we'd see Playboy Dan. Playboy Dan would roll in with his own toes. He'd scoop up every tape and magazine he had at the time and fill up his little pickup truck. Due to the volume of items in our outdated checkout system, he'd be there for hours. While we'd count, he'd regale us with the many conspiracies he subscribed to. He believed them all. The government, all lizard people. 9/11, inside job, man. Paul McCartney, the real one died and was replaced 40 years ago. Elvis, still alive and abducted by aliens. My favorite of his conspiracies involved genetically engineered spider goats on the dark side of the moon. Man, that's wild. This one was new to me. Although scientists did really make spider goats. The goats could produce spider silk in their milk. But they were still just goats. How do you think they mined the helium-3? We all had our theories on what he did with all the tape, magazines, and tapes. He probably just collected or resold them, but that's boring. What did he do with all of them? He probably used all those tapes to build a safe house. Finally, some anti-mind-reading building materials. Phew. It's beautiful. He's actually the alien from the Roswell crash, and he tries to blend in as a typically human male, buying as much female nudity as he can. He buys Playboy so he can't be tracked on the internet. Hey, it's me, regular human male Dan. I sure do love females. And male-style movies. I'll take them all. Playboy Dan is actually 3 kids in a trench coat. Alright guys, you know the plan. I'm an adult. I will have all the nudie mags and tapes for us. The adults sure do love boobs and movies. Use the Playboys to wallpaper his weird VHS bunker. The bunker's good, but I think it's missing something. Maybe some wallpaper. It's beautiful. Playboy Danny's buying all that literal garbage so people have something to do when people leave. Woo! Hosting a party tonight. But what will we do? I've got it. We adults sure do love booze. I don't know what became of Playboy Dan. Perhaps one of our theories is true and he's living his best life. Finally safe. Let's party. Or perhaps has fallen into a darker space many conspiracy theorists find themselves in. The uninstalled. Some things I guess we're better off not knowing. The end.
Thank you. So is this a true story?
It is, yes.
How often have you seen this guy?
Well, it's been a few years since I worked there, so, but he wouldn't come in very often, like in the comic, just when we'd have sales, so we could get everything as cheap as he could.
Has there been anyone else like this guy, or just him?
No, he's pretty singular customer. Yeah.
No further questions.
So, I remember I was actually hanging out with you in October, and you were telling us this story after CXC. Was this comic done before or after that?
So I think I was currently working on it.
Okay,
at the
gotcha.
time,
Yeah, no, it's really funny stuff, and I think that working in the retail space, you kind of are exposed to people like this, but like you said, they kind of have their own unique quirks that make them, singular entities.
Oh yeah.
I know you said that you haven't heard from Playboy Dan, but have you kept up with any of the employees there? Or does he still come in that you know of, or?
From what I know, I don't think he does.
Okay.
Most of the guys I work there with, they're not there anymore, but.
Right. All right, and you actually will have a physical copy of this for sale tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Hell yeah, and you'll be at Fluke as well,
Yes.
of course. And what else do you have for sale tomorrow?
I'll have this, and then some of my previous work. I'll have Heat, Death, Love, which is kind of a sci-fi romance. And I'll have Yankee Doodle Strangler, goofy horror comic.
Yeah, that's one thing, following your work over the years, you do a lot of genre comics, and they're very independent of one another. How do you get in the headspace to tackle such different, subject matter with each book you do?
Well, really, it's especially with the horror. It's just kind of based off my recently really getting into horror, especially that early '70s kind of weird, goofy horror and I just kind of wanted to riff on that. And then sci-fi. I've just always been into sci-fi. So.
What's your favorite
Just
sci-fi?
Let's see. I really like Blade Runner. So I really like that kind
You
of
like 2049?
Yeah. I
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Divisive movie, so yeah.
Yeah. It is.
Yes. All right. Hell yeah. Thanks, David.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm Abby Kacen, also known as Miles Payne, returning. Happy to be home. Thank you for having me. This is a very short story from the new issue of Miles Payne, which is debuting tomorrow at Fluke. You can get a copy there. Miles Payne is this ongoing series of my sketchbook comics. So just kind of like either things that have happened to me or things I'm reflecting on. So this is a conversation that my partner Steve and I, who's over there, had when we were walking back from the Fresh Market, which is right by where we live. It's called Worms. How do worms move? It depends on the worm. But generally, like that. I could have been more to illustrate this point, but I didn't. Right. I suppose they move differently when they're underground. Nod. When I think about worms too long, I remember this episode of Goosebumps. This kid is stomping on worms. And his sister tells him he shouldn't. But he was like, yeah, whatever. And then the worms started showing up everywhere. Like in his bed? Yeah. Then he falls through the ground. and ends up in this worm cavern with a giant worm that I guess stomps on him. That always stuck with me. Wow, I never read or watched Goosebumps. You know I'm gonna have to make a comic about this. Classic cartoonist thing to say. Okay, they just make him promise to be nice to worms. It was called Go Eat Worms, based on the book, of course. Todd, worm-eating Todd. Immediately starts drawing after walk back from the store, of course. Steve often checks for accuracy when I put him/his words in a comic. 27th of January, 2024. All right, so this next segment is from my book, Sid and the Sickos, which I made in 2020 during the pandemic, and then self-published it in 2021. It was on sale here, but it's currently out of print right now. I'm currently working on a sequel, so no, you can't get a copy, I'm sorry. But some of you already have a copy, so thank you. Keep me waiting up all night, ba-da-da. Switch to some minors. Hey, Sid, I invited a bass player to sit in tonight. That cool? Oh, I guess. So, they don't have the Rona, right? Also, this is set during 2020 as well. No? Okay, when they get in here. Soon. Knock, knock. Or now. Wait, I'll get it. Y'all, this is Addie. Hi, nice to meet you. Thanks for letting me sit in with you guys. Oh, hi. Oh no. This is, nice to meet you, Addie. Yeah, I'm Sid, so you played bass. Yep. How long you been in Dogwood? 6 years. Uh-huh. Hi, I'm Slick. Hi. So what are we playing? Oh, just whatever sounds good. I hope you like fast and loud music. Oh yeah, I'm all for it. Here, Adeline, I'll take your bass upstairs. Oh, thanks, bud. Let's get jamming, y'all. Got a bad feeling about this. Psst. Sid, kind of thought you were gonna dodge this. Yeah, but I also want to leave a good impression. The future's full of uncertainties. What? Why are you looking at me like that? He's a ghost, by the way. You couldn't tell. Can you blame me? She's cute, she plays. No way they're dating. So what's the harm in being friendly? She'll sit in, we'll jam, it's all cool here. Les invited her anyhow, he did this. Just be careful. I know you're a good friend. Your righteousness is unrelenting. Rab. Dude! What? Your ass looks good in that skirt. Yeah, and it ain't yours to grab like that. Come on, you like it. You know, the DMT needs to go in the freezer right now. Here, I'll take my base. Oh, fuck yeah. I should have mentioned there's like drugs in this. Oh, cool, I have that same poster. I love Call Lightning. Yeah, I used to play with them. I thought I knew your face from somewhere. Oh, did you now? Yep, I saw you guys play in January at Lux. Oh, well, not my best night, but it was fun. That was my last live show. You sounded good. That was the last show I went to, too. All right, let's rip. We're waiting on you, darling. Addie, just jump in when it feels right. Music sounds. Maybe some more music sounds. Les is acting weird. I should have just asked him about Sid. That would have been normal. All of this feels off. Fuck. What am I really doing here? Sid probably isn't interested in that little Tinder moment. That was nothing. Besides, I ruin all that I touch. All my relations forever fleeting. Every impulse I've jumped on will send me spiraling toward a lonely mess. I will always get bored, and everyone will leave. Leave me! Leave me in ruin! Oh. Dang, Addie. I was feeling it. How about I just listen to you guys for a bit? What? I want to hear more of what you've got. What? No. You sure? I don't really sing in front of others. What's happening? Well, you don't have to do anything you don't want to, but you sound good. Oh, thank you. Maybe. I'll think on it. Cool. Let's pick back up, y'all. What is happening? I didn't know Addie ever sang. And what's Sid up to? Is he just trying to fuck with me again? Are we still tripping and then fucking later? That's why Addie's here. I've known her for like 6 years. If things really can't be patched up with Veronica, Addie will still be here. We could make something work. We have hot sex and get high together, and that works. We could be doing that forever. And if Veronica comes back, Addie and I will still be tight. Can't lose. Addie and I have a long history, and that's what holds us together. Some jams later. That was cool. Yeah, how long have you played bass? Like 10 years. Cool. Hey, Addie, how about that DMT? Oh, yeah, you're all welcome to a hit too. Oh, no thank you. I'll pass this time, but I can be your trip babysitter. I love setting a vibe for that kind of thing. Yeah, that sounds great, actually. Would anyone like some tea? Oh, yes, please. I'll take one too. Sure. It's nice to have a tea break every now and again. I think, oh wait, is there missing? Yep, whatever, there's a missing page, or panel, that we don't care. There's a vibe set. I think you're all set. Gee, thanks, bud. Here, I got a new piece. You go first. All right. Actually, I think I'm gonna go. I've got an early boat in the morning before work and it's late. Thanks so much for the jam time. Oh yeah, it was nice to meet you. Yeah, you too. Let's do this again sometime. What? Slam. Good night, Slick. Oh. What am I? You are me. You're dead. What? I already did that. You already died? Yeah. So what else is there? Well, nothing, really. Oh. Alright. Addie left? Yep. Sorry, dude. I mean, I hope I didn't kill the vibe, but she's cool and a great bass player. It's fine, man. What time is it? Almost 1. We were out for nearly an hour. Ugh. I'm kicking ass at Tetris. That's the end.
So a little shameless self-promotion. Abby was just on our last episode, and we went into depth about a lot of her career. But to ask you a couple questions, you did mention that you're working on the second book there. First one being done in 2020. There's obviously some time between the books. Is it hard to get back into the space of making those characters and rewriting and executing those characters on the page after some time away from them?
It has been. I've done a couple of short stories in between as a way to stay familiar with them, but I wouldn't say that the short stories are canonical or linear in any way compared to this story. So I had like come up with the idea for the sequel when I was on a run, and it just like struck me like lightning. I was like, oh, I think I've figured out what I want to do. And then that was like almost a year ago now, so still a slow process, but it's nice to kind of like look back at this book and try to use that as the base for thinking about how the characters will have changed or how they haven't changed. So like this story and the next one are, I think, both thematically about how people can grow and change. So it's been interesting.
And I have a copy of the book. It's a pretty thick book. Is the next one also as long, or is it going to be a little smaller? Or?
Probably a little bit longer.
Oh, okay.
Like 120, 140 pages.
Hell yeah. Right on. I might be blowing up your spot here, but what's up with Machine Gun Kelly?
So for those who don't know, I moved to Cincinnati 2 years ago, and I have a friend that I was working with who runs this coffee shop / art gallery, and they let me sell my zines there. So I like dropped off some copies of Mild Pain, and then like last weekend, my friend called me on like Sunday or something, and was like, "Hey, so like." Machine Gun Kelly was in here. I just bought your comic, and then I had to like Google on the while on the phone, being like Machine Gun Kelly, who is? I honestly didn't even fucking know. I was like, I know I've heard this name before, but who is this guy? I was like, so did he like it?
That's so funny, just because I'm just I know who Machine Gun Kelly is, and just picturing him reading Mild Pain on the bus or something.
I'm guessing that like the title was captivating since he just got like his whole body tattoos covered up like in black. Yeah, I was like, he must know pain.
Right. Yeah.
So like I was told he bought like Mild Pain #2, which is probably the better one.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
I hope that he showed it to Megan Fox.
Yeah, right. That's what's important here. That's what's important. And you'll be at Fluke tomorrow?
He'll be at Fluke tomorrow.
And what will you have?
I will have Mild Pain 1, 2, and 3. And I have some mini Mild Pains, which is what I was doing for my Patreon people. That's all the stuff that didn't make it into the Mild Pains. And I have some limited run new Sid shirts that I screen printed myself. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks for reading and for putting this together. Seriously.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm your last act of the night. My name's Pat Rooks.
Asked to read the middle and they put you last.
It's okay. Best for last. So I'm going to read this story that I did last year. It's called Death Digs Deep. It's sort of an exercise in genre and like a way for me to play with like comics history that I really love. So it is more or less an EC style horror comic. But done in the style of a Karl Barks Duck book. So that's what this is. That's a little background. Let's get into it. All right. Death digs deep. Fling. Dunk. 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 You like that, Daddy? Oh, yeah, baby. Hey, pal, you forgot to pay. Oh, yeah? What are you gonna do about it? This guy's a scumbag. Shaking hands. I appreciate you flying my grandchildren and I on such short notice. Hey, you're paying me, aren't you, pal? So, what's this? Some kind of make-believe treasure hunt? You'd be surprised, sir. Gee, Gramps, I can't believe we found a map to the Gator Gang's buried booty. I can hardly wait to start digging. Me either, sis. Patience, my dears. Now pack the map away. We'll be landing soon. Say, I remember hearing about that group of thieves. They robbed the biggest bank in Pig City. They were caught, but the police never recovered the money. A fella could sit pretty with all that scratch. If only, if only, if only. Russell. Easy, Lloyd. eye on the prize. We're about to land, folks. I just need to make a few safety checks in the back. Sounds good, pilot man. Here he has their map. He's stolen their map. Alert! 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 The pilot sure has been back there a long time. What's that dreadful sound? Whoa! Ack! Huh? Sayonara, suckers. And he lands on the beach. He goes on his treasure hunt. He's climbing up this hill. X marks the spot. He's found it. Bam. He's found their treasure. Oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell? I did what I had to do. Did he? Thief! No. It's not possible. It's not possible, oh dear God. What have I done? Ah! No, leave me alone. The end. Thank you very much.
All right, Pat. So, oh geez, I've talked to you so much. I don't know what to ask you. All right, so you mentioned that this was kind of a genre comic. So obviously you're looking at a lot of things for reference here. You mainly mentioned the Duck comics. Now, this, this reading you just did is definitely its own thing. So when you're trying to stay true to the source material, but pay homage while also keeping your own, storytelling devices and so forth, what are you consciously doing there? Like, are you trying to capture the spirit of the comic? Or are you trying to capture some of the character design, some of like the dialogue? What exactly is your process there? Because I feel like you are a student of the game since I've known you. You've always kind of done these books that allude to the stuff you're interested in. So as far as that process, how do you capture, like, what do you look at and you're like, I want to take this and put it in my work?
Yeah, so firstly, I think that most of the comics I've made up to this point in my career are all just kind of like exercises in learning how to make comics. And so it just kind of makes sense to me that, like, as I learn about the history of comics, that I make work that is sort of in the spirit of that, just so I can kind of learn what that part of comics is doing, and wrap my head around it by making something like it. But that being said, I think that whenever you're doing something that is kind of an homage, like, you can do a really technical homage where you are like endlessly researching and like truly trying to make it like as spot on as possible, and that's like awesome. There's a lot of really cool stuff like that. But whenever I do it, I like to have like read a bunch of the stuff, be pretty well versed in it, and then like not have looked at it in 3 months or something like that, or 3 to 6 months, and that way I'm sort of like doing it more on like subconscious, right. Synthesizing my like memory of it. That way I'm not pulling anything like too specific.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, because whenever I'm making comics, I hate looking at stuff because I don't want to be influenced by anything. So I don't like to read comics at all if I'm making one. Are you the same way, or do you just not like to look at what you're making an homage to?
I feel like that's the trick. I'm always like reading comics, but I feel like whatever comic I'm making, I'm probably reading something that's like the complete opposite of that. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So you've been doing your series Pistopia recently. You've got a new kind of collection of stories from that universe that you're debuting tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's a combination of things. It's a 12-page story or a 10-page story that I did for Rust Belt Review last year. That was just like packaged inside of a $20 book that like was only a 500 copy run. So I was like, okay, well that's something that not a lot of people who read my comics, like the crossover's there, but not completely. So I was like, okay, I'll reprint that in this. And then I had an 8-page story that I did in December that I was like, kind of like dragging my feet on. And I was like, okay, I might as well just finish that. And then I can package something new because I have, you know, this sort of like weird compulsion that I think a lot of cartoonists have where you're like, oh, the last book I put out was in like August of last year. Like everybody's seen it. Like I have to have something new for the show.
Yeah, right.
So I was like going to bed one night like 2 months ago and I was like, oh, that's a zine I can make. Like, so yeah, that's what I've got coming out.
Hell yeah. And you'll be at Fluke tomorrow, and what else will you have?
Yeah, I'll have that, and I'll have the 2 Pistopia Presents books that I did last year, Bruce and Lola, as well as Hobo Law. And then I've got like some stickers and stuff, and that's about it.
The Garfield stickers?
Yeah, I have the Garfield Big Natural stickers. Check those out.
Right on.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
it. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.